Very good evening, Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan. I hope you had a very good weekend and a very good day. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. With great reverence, Megha offered the Ashtopachar Puja with sandalwood paste, flowers, etc. And according to his capacity, he gave Dakshina, flower garlands, and fruit. Once on the Makar Sankranti day, Megha wished to bring water from the Godavari river to give Baba a proper bath by applying oil, sandalwood paste mixed with other fragrant ingredients, etc., all over his body. He pestered Baba to obtain his permission, and when ultimately Baba said, "Do as you please," Megha picked up the water vessel and set out to get the water. Before the sunrise, Megha set out, empty vessel in hand, barefooted and without an umbrella, to bring water from the Gomati river. That the distance between both ways was 16 miles, and that to traverse it would mean great effort and much trouble, was a thought that never crossed his mind, even in a dream. This was not his worry at all. On getting the permission, he set out at once. When the resolve is firm, it generates great enthusiasm for the task in hand. The moment it came into his mind to bathe Sai with the Ganga Godavari waters, where was the effort? Where the exhaustion? Firm faith is the only measure in achieving the purpose. In this way, the water was brought and emptied in the copper vessel. He then kept on pressing Baba to get up and have a bath, but Baba would not listen. Okay, this is a very, very beautiful and a very important aspect of Guru Seva. When you have a real master and you're in his presence, one of the most important that important thing we do as part of the Guru Seva and a Guru Bhakti is that you bathe him. How do you bathe him? You give him a beautiful oil massage. Of course, yes, we need, here it is mentioned with the mixture of oil, applying sandalwood paste. So this oil also has to be a very unique oil which is applied to the divine. It cannot be any ordinary oil. It has to be the fragrant oil which has been extracted from the natural source. It could be like a lavender oil, a sandalwood oil, or it could be a tea tree oil, those kind of oils. And then you massage the Guru's body. See, the Guru's body itself is a temple. You cannot take a Guru's body to be some body like us, the ordinary human beings. A Guru's body is pavitra, it is pure. They say pak. Pak means absolutely pure, because the real masters do not have the koshas, the different koshas in them. They're just this like the empty, structure. There is no inside. There are different other bodies that we have. The sheets they don't have, so they are very pure. If you have ever been near to a divine master, the real master, you can experience his body will exude different kinds of fragrances. An example, in my Krishna Guruji's case, I can smell sandalwood paste, or I could smell jasmine, or champak flower, you name it. There are different kinds of fragrance that you can get from a divine master's body. Not only that, even the temperatures, it can switch. An example, I think I've already mentioned this example, but I love to say the same thing once again. When we were traveling in Jaipur and in Amritsar, the temperatures were literally very low. It was freezing like hell. And we were going for the darshan in the Golden Temple in Amritsar, really early in the morning, in the Brahma Muhurt, around 3:30 a.m. Absolutely chilled to the bones. And then what happened was, I was wearing so many different layers, but my Guruji's body, it shifts the temperature. When it is extremely cold outside, his body will be hot. And when it is so hot outside, the weather, his body will, be cool. Now, this is how the divine being's body also will switch accordingly. You know how they can do it? Because they have the control over the mind. There is no mind actually. They are the universal beings. So the kind of sadhana that they have done, being the great masters, and all the, the elements are under their control. It is adheen to them. The entire universe, the senses, the organs of action, the gunas, everything, this entire creation, this entire universe, all the elements are adheen to them, means they're all under his control. So they can control anything in this universe, unlike you and me, because we cannot even overcome the most stupidest element in our life. Some contact with some sense object, our mind will always run to that. So coming back to the point, so the Guru's body is the temple, and you need to worship that temple. How do you, and he's the God himself. The God is residing in that particular body, right? It's manifested. So how do you take care of it? So you have to give it oil massage. You have to massage it with, sandalwood paste, and you cannot use ordinary water to, bathe him. You have to use the more purest of water. That is why Megha takes Baba's permission to get the water from the Godavari river, the Ganga itself. So what we do in Krishna Ashram is, on very, very special occasion, we do this ritual. This is very important ritual to be done. And then we add the Ganga Jal, and then, and then bathe him. And also like during Guru Puja, Guru Purnima, Dattatreya Jayanti, and during Diwali. So this ritual is very much followed in Krishna Ashram. And when you bathe the Guru, that's a very punya. Punya means it brings you good merits. It's a worship. It's a form of seva. So it's very, very important that you serve the master. Just like in the temple, how does the gods are bathed every morning. Then they give that all that Panchamrit Abhishekam is done, and then you wash him again. You bathe him with like the water. For example, in Sri Rangam, there is a very beautiful event that happens, the ritual that is done for Lord Ranganath Swami there. There is a darshan called Vishwarupa Darshan, and if you ever get a chance, you must go visit, and you will understand how beautifully this ritual is followed. It's our tradition and culture, which is very, very important. So what they do is, in Tiruchi, that's Sri Rangam, there is the Kaveri river. So they go and take water from Kaveri river in a beautiful copper vessel, and there is this elephant. It's called the Airavat. So Lord Vishnu's elephant is Airavat, and he's got the horse, which is the Uchishrava. So exactly how it is done, in the Lord's heaven, the same thing is repeated even on the earth. And then the water is brought on top of the elephant. And what they do is, there is then Kamadhenu, all those are placed. Example, the horse is placed, then Kamadhenu is placed, and then the elephant will walk and come. There is a beautiful mridangam, it's a Carnatic music that is played, and there's a lot of beautiful pomp and all these very nice sounds of the divine sounds, music, recitals, everything is done. And then when the elephant comes, the elephant on its tusk, the trunk, it holds this beautiful copper pot, and holding that, they just they move a little bit of the door, and it's the first sight is Lord Vishnu sees the elephant, and then the elephant sprinkles the water from his trunk, and then wakes Vishnu. That is Vishwarupa Darshanam. And very beautifully Vishnu is, he's woken up from his sleep. How beautiful. And that happens in the Brahma Muhurt, plus or minus, around the 5:30 a.m. time. It's the beautiful sight that you can experience. So this is a very important ritual to be followed. Bathing itself is a process. Don't take it so lightly. So every aspect is, there are profound meaning to that, why you do what you do. So then Megha's devotion is such that he goes running and gets the water. And let's see how he is going to bathe the Guru. The aarti at noon was over and people went back to their respective homes. Everything is ready for the bath and it is afternoon already, said Megha. Seeing Megha's persistence, Sai, who had incarnated only to show his Leela, held Megha's hand in his own and said, Really, Megha? I do not want this bath with the Ganga water. Oh, how foolish can you be? Why does a fakir like me want Ganga water? See, the Divine Master's way to test, his ardent devotees is amazing. And they will see how much are you really persistent, how much you persevere. And in this very beautifully it is mentioned, when you have the devotion, the distance doesn't matter. To what extent you go and get those things doesn't matter. The gurus see how much you put effort. It's your effort that they see, how much you really mean it. I'll tell you a very beautiful thing that happened. Last year in Krishna Ashram, we started the Durga Puja. Every year we have done, but last year is when first time we are all together in Krishna Ashram. And that time my Guruji said, he was on tour, he was traveling in Himalayas 1 month, he was not there. So he said, just before Durga Puja, I will come back. And then he said, I want to see what is that you're going to do this time. So before he left, he just said this to me. So that left me with a huge question mark. Oh my God, this is like a lot of, it's scary when the Guruji says something like, not scary. He just said that, in a very nice manner. I'm going to watch, I'm going to see what you're going to do. So while he was away, now I needed to, I was thinking about how we can celebrate, what are the different things we could do. So we have very beautiful Durga Ma. So we think, oh, most important is first we need to get her garments and all that. So I requested one of my aunts who likes to do all of the stitching and all that. And I told her, can you please stitch the garment for my Durga Ma. So we went and bought all nice fabrics. So we invited her over here. My Guruji was not there, and we're taking the measurements. We kept all the gods and trying to see what could we do. And then we were searching on YouTube, do we have any designs, how it needs to be stitched and all that. So as I was figuring all these things out, suddenly we decided, let's Google and find out where we can get some of those little things that we can bring, like those samples if somebody is selling. So we just put, God's clothing, and you wouldn't believe, I got an N number of, results from Google. So I got the phone numbers, I started calling them up. So I got many of them who are based not in Bangalore, but they were based across different locations in India. Somewhere in Jaipur, somewhere in Gujarat, so endless. But I'm like, I can't get all of this organized when somebody is sitting somewhere, they don't know what kind of this, the statue I have. No matter how much I will be able to communicate with them, still it's not going to be perfect, as when they see it. I can send a WhatsApp image and all that, it's not going to work. And then in that, finally, I came across, I must have called literally like 20 to 30 people, and then I got vague responses. People started sending me images, and I went through all, I was not satisfied. And there was one search in that it mentioned Radha Krishna Creations. I said, okay, sounds interesting, because I saw one very small mukut, the crown for Lord Shri Krishna. That caught my eye, that caught my attention. And then I immediately called this person, and on that day, funnily, I don't say funnily, probably it's a wrong thing to say, rather, it was not a coincidence, but strangely enough, the number reached this lady's daughter. So she picked up and she said, oh, this is my mother who runs this business. I'll give her contact number. Why don't you call her directly? And she's based in Cambridge layout. And for it's like, oh my God, it was music to my ears, because it is in Bangalore. It is very close by to, not too far off from where I live. So I said, okay, wow, that's a great thing. And then what happened? Then we went to this place, and oh wow, the moment I entered that place, it was amazing, because this particular lady was an ardent devotee of Lord Shri Krishna, Radha Krishna. So she was a follower of ISKCON, and then she had all those dolls and she was decorating them. I couldn't ask for anything more than that. And then she showed me all the jewelry and everything. So immediately we picked up all of those as a sample and then said, let's go try. It was the best shopping. I have ever done in my life. You know how beautiful it is that when you're doing this for God, you're selecting. It's not how much you put effort when you're shopping for yourself. It's about how much effort can you put while you're shopping for the Divine Almighty, because you want the best of the things. And so for me, it was all a guesstimate, you know. I know all the idols by heart, like what's the size and all that. So with that guesstimation, we picked up all those, the garments, those jewelry, everything. And you wouldn't believe, it was so amazing. When we came back and we tried to fit in, it fit so perfectly well. And I was literally in tears. I said, thank you, Lord Krishna. I thanked my Guruji in my heart. I didn't tell him anything because I was waiting for him to come back and I wanted to give him a surprise. So that week we cleaned, we washed the gods. We were so excited waiting for my Guruji to come back on the Ghatastapana day, when we would establish Ma Durga and start our Devi Mahatmyam Parayan. And then she was so beautifully, we dressed her, everything. It was just amazing. It literally felt so nice for the first time. Seeing her in this, in those garments, it literally in tears. And then my Guruji was back. And after that, when he saw, he was like, my Guruji will never compliment, he will never appreciate, because the moment the Guruji praises you, you will falter. So my Guruji will never ever praise anybody. I mean, at least his closest of his disciples, he will never say you have done good or even you have done well. All he says is okay. Okay means just okay. That's it. You can do much better. It doesn't mean that you have done great. You can do much better. Good from my Guruji's mouth is the greatest compliment on planet Earth. That means you've really done something great, but the moment he says good, please know that next time you're going to come down. So never take that compliment from him. So he saw all that and he said, the only word he uses, I'm pleased with you. To me, that meant, I don't know what, I just cannot even describe how happy I was. It was the most happiest moment. So for my Guruji student, another ashram mate, and both of us, because we put a lot of effort, did all of this, and he was fed up coming to, going so many times and bringing so many different things. It is very exciting, and that time I realized the joy of having the devotional service, like how every aspect of the Lord you want to do it with perfection, and then you don't feel tired. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. You don't feel you're having a tough day or whatever day, right? You'll finish your office work, then you come back and you're running to shop. But that is the beauty of it, that you just want to do. Even today, just 5 minutes before starting the satsang, I had finished my call. I was getting ready. I rushed through. But the joy I feel the moment I sit in this seat is completely different. So I get transferred completely into a different world altogether. So that's the joy I get, because it's about learning. It is about learning something very beautiful. So you need to find that happiness when you serve the divine. So serving the Guru is like this, that fame, and you'll go choose every little thing from the most the right shop, or the perfect thing, or the best of the best is what you would want to offer to the God. But also please know that don't do anything for the heck of doing. And also I've seen people in the material world that when they have to offer something to the God, they take it very lightly, and never do something like that. When you offer to the God, you have to put more effort than what you can do it for your own self. Don't even keep yourself as a yardstick. Can you go beyond that as well? So that is the way you have to serve the Guru. My Guruji has only taught us this. He'll always give us the best. And to me, it is like, when he can give us the best of the best, when serving him, we want to offer beyond what he doesn't expect. It's a wrong word, to please him, to win his heart. But please, you need to know that no matter you bring him the best diamond in this world or anything, right? Anything that could be best of the best, it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't care. The only reason he will honor is it's your love. It's his disciples and devotees' love. That is all he'll honor with. But besides that, he has no vested interest. The one thing that he seeks from everybody is they understand his lessons and they are able to live and practically apply in their life. He wants to see everybody being devoted and doing everything that they have to do, being born as this human being. So the best adornment that we can offer to him is being our good self, living his teachings, and representing him in the most beautiful manner. That is all he cares about. He doesn't care about every other thing that you want to offer to him or do to him. He wants to see how beautifully his disciples and devotees have attained that devotion and have evolved on the path of spirituality. I'm sorry for taking too long, but this is a very important lesson that you need to understand. So coming back, seeing Megha's persistence, Sai, who had incarnated only to show his Leela, held Megha's hand in his own and said, "Really, Megha, I do not want this bath with the Ganga water. Oh, how foolish can you be? Why does a fakir like me want Ganga water?" But Megha was not prepared to listen to anything. He knew only one thing. That to him, Baba was Shankar himself, and that Shankar is pleased when bathed with Ganga water. He said, "Baba, today is the festive occasion of Makar Sankranti, when Shankar is pleased with the bath of Ganges water." Seeing his overwhelming love, pure heart, and firm resolve, Baba said, "All right, let your wish be satisfied." So saying, he got up and went and sat on the low stool kept for his bath. He bent his head before Megha and said, "Just put a little water over here. Of all the parts of the body, head is the chief. Sprinkle a little water on it and it will be equal to full bath. Listen to me at least this much." "All right," he said, and lifting the water vessel very lovingly, he poured it over the head. As he emptied it, saying, Har Gange, he poured water all over Baba and not only on his head. Megha was very pleased with himself as he thought, "I bathed my Shankar fully with his garments on." But lo, as he put down the empty vessel, he stared at Baba in wonder. Although he had poured water all over the body, Baba's head alone was wet, while the other parts were dry. On his clothes too, there was not a drop of water. Megha's pride was humbled, and those around gaped in astonishment. Such was Shri Sai's way of indulging his devotees' fancy. This is very important. And one very important lesson which Baba has taught here is that Baba just said, "Megha, sprinkle water on my head. It is equivalent to, having a full bath." You must listen. If you do not listen to your guru, he will always break your pride. This is how we will break it. If you think you want to do something, you'll end up doing opposite of it. You will never keep up your commitment. You will never keep up your word. The most important thing here is to listen to the words of the guru. The instruction is very clear. Megha, only do this. So don't go against the words of your guru. And this is a very important lesson we all should learn. You know why? We use our mind. We think this is how we have to do it. The great masters say it very subtly. I'm not joking. It is, you cannot understand the way the great masters work. 90% of the time, they will be speaking to your mind. You know why? Because you will have to overcome your mind. My Guruji today taught a very beautiful lesson. He was saying, I have to give lessons to each one in the way it's palatable to them. So the same story, he has to twist and turn so that the essence of that story enters you. You understand that meaning so that the knowledge can be imbibed by you. The story is the same, okay? But how he puts it across is very different to each one. You know why? Because we are still this mind, body. We believe that this is who we are. We have not been able to overcome our mind. So give up this, self-conceit, deceit, or listening to your mind. Stop listening to your mind and surrender to the Guru. And then your life will be very simple. You will be able to follow the instructions to the T. So following the words of the Guru is very important because his word is gospel truth. And everything that he says comes to be. You must know it. So do not discount it. Don't take him for granted. So you wish to bathe me, go ahead and do according to your wishes. But even in that you will get my sign quite easily. This is the secret significance of Sai devotion. You have only to have the good fortune of being in his holy company, and then nothing is difficult. By and by, everything becomes easy. Every instant, resting or walking or talking or taking around morning and noon, if the devotee kept a steady, immovable faith, he would achieve his desired goal. But only by giving some such inner sign in the actual practical life, and by creating a fondness for the spiritual life, Did Sai instruct the devotee little by little in that path? Absolutely. There is another such story of Megha, by listening to which the listeners will be delighted. Sai's love for his devotees will surely gladden their hearts. There was a large new picture of Baba which Nana Sahib Chandorkar had presented to Megha. He used to keep it in the Wada and worship it with great devotion. In the mosque was Baba in person. In the Wada was his full-length picture, an exact replica. In both these places, Megha performed puja and aarti day and night. This daily worship continued and 12 months passed by easily. Then one day, Megha had a vision as he lay awake on his bed at dawn. While he was in bed, although his eyes were closed, his mind was fully awake when he clearly saw Baba's figure. Knowing full well that he was awake, Baba also threw some grains of consecrated rice on his bed and said, "Megha, do draw a trishul," and disappeared that instant. Hearing Baba's words, Megha opened his eyes at once, but was astonished to see him vanish. Megha looked all round, only to see the rice all over his bed. Even as the doors of the Wada were fastened as before, he was quite mystified. He went to the mosque at once and asked, after taking Baba's darshan, he narrated the incident of the Trishul, asking Baba's permission to draw it. Megha narrated his vision in detail. Baba then said, "What vision? Did you not hear my words telling you to draw the Trishul? Calling it a vision, are you trying to evaluate my words? My words have a profound significance. Not even a letter in them is meaningless." I hope you got your answer. Baba's ways of instructing to get you to do something are multiple ways. It could be through vision, it could be through a dream, it could be like, somebody is telling you that message, it could be you're reading a scripture and then the message comes there. You can't even fathom in how many ways they can give you a message. But understanding that is what you need to have. And you need to have the grace of the master to understand that. That is the most important thing. And then you have to execute on it. So here, when Megha comes and checks with Baba, he's trying to check whether that is real or not. He's checking it's not real, but he wants to be sure that he has to do that. So that is why he again narrated the same thing to Baba. Many a time, my Krishna Guruji will give instructions in different ways. There would be sometimes like a premonition, right? You get a premonition that this is going to happen. Whether the event is good or bad, it doesn't matter. There's always a premonition that something is going to come your way. Or there will be an instruction, that the vision that you need to do this. It's very funny in my Krishna Guruji's case, few years ago, we were all wanting to establish our Krishna ashram. So we started this journey to go and search for the place. Right from south to north, we've been traveling many different places and trying to visit and see where we can establish the Krishna ashram. Now every single time I would go to a particular place. An example, once we happened to go to Coorg. My Guruji loves the cool places. So Coorg is one of his favorite locations. Then we went and saw many properties over there. So I would like, okay, this is something it should be. You know why? Just before that, I had a dream, sort of a vision, where my Guruji is sitting in top of one mountain and saying, "This is where I want my ashram." Now, I can remember that mountain, but now where is that mountain? I was not given. There was no information after that. I could only see that particular ashram where it has to be constructed. That ashram is around somewhere very close to a mountain. I'm like, okay, now when we went to Coorg, there was a very beautiful mountain in front of that particular property that we saw. I said, this should be the place. But it didn't work out. So, okay, not this, not this, not this. So, we've been negating. So, I don't know where exactly it is. At that time, my Guruji said, you think it is so easy, is it? Every great master has gone through that search. And if it has to happen, it will happen. If it is not meant to be, it is not meant to be. Then there will be no independent ashram. So, there is already something preordained, there's already something planned. So what that is, we don't know, and how that is going to come about also we don't know. But you have to keep the search. The most important thing is you have to keep the search. But there is a vision and there is a premonition that has been given. That is given because for a certain purpose. And when the right time comes, then you will be able to execute on it. And you will then realize, oh, this is exactly what it was. So you'll be able to connect the dots. But how soon or how late it is, we don't have. The time factor is never in our hands. So then every time we went to see the property, I would first look for, oh, is there a mountain? Oh yeah, there is a mountain here. Hope this works out. But it wouldn't work. Then I realized when the divine wills at the perfect timing, those things will fall in place. But searching is a must. So coming back. Megha said, even I thought in the beginning that you woke me up, but not a single door was open. So I regarded it as a vision. Listen to Baba's reply to this. No door is necessary for my entry. I have neither shape nor size. I am always everywhere. Absolutely. They are the unmanifest. They are the Parabrahman. Body is just a tool. You know why they have donned the manifest form? That they have taken a form, the body, they've donned that garb only because they can impart this knowledge. So that they can show you the path of how to realize yourself, how to get redeemed from this material worldly miseries, from, break out of the birth, death cycle and, become free, get out of this bondage to attaining yourself. That is the most important. The sole purpose of this body is only to, reach your spiritual will. So that is why they don this body, but they can enter in anyway. They can become unmanifest, they can be a manifest. They don't have to, do something physically. The entire creation is themselves. So you think that they are not present in an inanimate object, they are present in everything, both inanimate and animate. And they can move anything, anywhere. That's how this divine masters work. That is exactly what Baba is saying here. Casting his burden on me, he who truly becomes one with me, of him I become the controller, regulating bodily functions. But now listen carefully, O listeners, to Baba's wonderful Leela, and you will understand the purpose of the Trishul. You will then realize the connection. Here, as Megha returned, he began to draw the Trishul on the wall near Baba's picture in the Vada, and it was drawn using the red color. The very next day, there came to the mosque a Ramdas devotee from Pune. He made obeisance to Baba very lovingly and offered him a Shivalinga. At that moment, Megha also came there and prostrated before Baba in obeisance. Baba said, "See, this Shankar has come for you. Now you look after him." To get the linga in this way, quite unexpectedly, and that too after the vision of Trishul, Megha stood still for a moment, looking at that linga. He was so much overcome with emotion that a lump rose to his throat. Absolutely. This is how the great masters work. Your innermost Ishta, and they will bless you in that same form, in different ways. You cannot even ask for it. I have to give you a very beautiful story of my own journey with my master. The one idol that I wanted was Radha Krishna. I've seen my Guruji offering, to everybody. Whenever at the right time, the one thing that he will always bless and offer to his disciple, devotees or anyone, right, is the idol of Radha Krishna. So, yeah, I got Krishna idols, I had everything. I was asking my Guruji, you know what, you've given everybody, most of your students, you've blessed them and you bought them a Radha Krishna idol. How come you've not given me even one? He never responded to me, okay? And I kept on searching. This is my ego. So every time I go somewhere, I'll keep looking for Radha Krishna idol. I couldn't find one. All I ended up finding was all Krishna, the most beautiful Krishna idols. So I would buy and I would very happily worship. They're literally embedded in my heart. It has taken 11 and a half years. Last December, when we were in Jaipur, before we left on the journey, the one thing that came from my mouth, I told my Guruji, the first thing we want to buy is Radha Krishna idol. I just said it like that. The one thing I want to get from Jaipur is Radha Krishna idol. I don't know whether that's going to come or not. Just mentioned it to him in a very casual manner. And we're going to buy everything that's connected to gods. I want to buy some nice jewelry, the garment, all those. He said, of course, we'll buy, we'll go figure it out, he said. I never expected that my Guruji, will really act upon it. Didn't expect anything. It was just a thought, and yes, we spoke about it. Finally, when we landed in Jaipur, we went and looked up few places. We couldn't figure it out. Then we searched who's the sculptor, or who has the best Radha Krishna idol. So we asked few people, where do we go? So they gave us few address saying that you have to go to this location, go to this location. And then one of the drivers, the cab drivers, we were talking to him in a casual manner, and that time he said, no, I'll take you to a place, he's a very famous guy, and you should go check it out with him, and if you like, you will get it over there. So we agreed, and on one day morning, the first thing we did is, we said first we have to go buy the idol, let's go there today, and after that we'll go wherever we want. So the moment we entered, he took us to this place where they only not manufacture, they have the sculptors, and they make all these idols in marble, right? They're called the Makrana marble, it's the purest marble. So they sculpt the gods' idols over there. He's one of the very big, very famous person. So didn't know about it. So we went there. When we went in there, literally in tears, oh my God, such beautiful idols he had. Massive, all sizes, shapes, and everything was there. Very beautiful Lord Dattatreya idol was also there. So I was literally running like a kid in the candy store, hither, seeing which idol is good and all that. And then suddenly, he was asking what size you want. So he took us to a few statues which he had, very beautiful ones. And then he showed, you have this, these are different things. And there's one Radha Krishna in that corner, and it's like calling me, And then there was one other pair, Radha Krishna, small ones, very small ones. For whatever reason, I couldn't take my eyes off them. And my Guruji asked, which ones? I said, they are the ones who called me. And he said, okay, fine, go ahead with it. And then we negotiated, and it just happened. But the small idol, the owner was not willing to reduce the price at all. Then I said, oh God, that's quite expensive, I was thinking. And I said, okay, if he's meant to come to me, he will come to me. So I kind of negotiated, he didn't work it out. But the big idols, we just finalized, and he said, write your name below the idol and I will ship it. So we worked out all that and we came back. And what happened is we were going to go to another city, and after that we were going to come back to the Jaipur, and then we were flying off from there. So once we came back, the last day my Guruji said, let's go to that person. I have to give my address as well, and make sure I had to give him a check. And then let's finish that, and then we'll see, if you can get that idol, you can continue your bargaining. He said, one last try, no problem. If it's meant to come to you, it will come to you. So, this is what my Guruji teaches. You have to try, you have to seek. Searching is a must, seeking is a must. And then we ended up going there. Then finally, after so much ask, and I said, please don't ever say no to this. You sell so much, you make a lot of money, but don't ever say no to this particular one. And finally, he somehow agreed. And then he says, okay, I will ship it. Don't worry, you go. My person will come and deliver. So he had a person coming and delivering those idols to us. So that is how finally Radha Krishna has come to Krishna Ashram, and something that I've always wanted. But it's not I who can want it. See that the time, that right time, that is when they will arrive. So everything works at the God's will, God's timing, at the will of the Lord alone, the appointed timing of the divine. So the love actually came in my life. It was the opening of that moment, the divine love. So that was the most beautiful trip of my entire life, I could say. I have no words to describe what I feel with them. So every single day, watching them, looking at them, worshipping them, literally tears roll, tears of joy, rolls down my cheek. It is so beautiful to be in devotion. Just looking at their face is so beautiful. And sometimes when I watch my Krishna Guruji looking at them, I find something, it's very unique. I've always observed him when he stands there and he watches them. Sometimes he's smiling at them. So I don't know what he does, but yes. So everybody has their communication. What they look is very, very, very different. And then right now we are in the search of a flute. So we got this idea, we didn't get the flute because they don't make the flute. So we have to buy. So that's another process. So you know how beautiful it is? That is how this happens. So for Megha, at the right time, Baba gave that his Ishta, the idol. So after 11 and a half years, and I told my Guruji, can you believe I've been searching to buy Radha Krishna so far? None of the idols that I've seen ever appeal to me. But here, they themselves call. And it was the most amazing bond that happened right then. They called me and said, here I am, take me with you. I was in tears. I can't even explain, just I can horripilate even the thought of it, how beautifully it happened. So that's the grace, the Lord Almighty. When the right time befalls, and then the God Almighty will come to you, because you have to be prepared and ready to receive. What does that mean? There is a very beautiful spiritual meaning to this. You have to be purer in your heart. Your heart has to be open to receiving this love of Radha Krishna. They are love incarnate, which means unconditional love. You have to love their entire universe, their entire world around. You have to show the unconditional love to Lord Shri Krishna. You cannot have conditions. To have the highest prema, the prema is the highest form of love. To attain that, you should be ready. So only when you are ready will they come in your life, not otherwise. So this is the way it happened. I cannot ask for anything better than this. I've always been very grateful, because my Guruji knows when you are ready for it, when you're ready to receive that knowledge, that love, that is when they will come to you. So don't ask anything out of turn and let the universe work its magic. And when they come on their own, the way things open up is very, very, very beautiful. It can't be better than this. And I was extremely grateful to my Guruji. And then he says, now let me see how the next steps are going to evolve. So that was a very beautiful thing. And it's a lot of responsibility also. It's not a joke. People don't understand the deeper spiritual significance behind them. They're just not idle. They are God themselves. You have welcomed them. So now you have to live beyond who they stand for. And that's a huge responsibility. It is not such an easy task having them, and you can be behaving however you want. It doesn't work. But yes, you have to evolve the path of spirituality, and the process is a very important aspect of it. So to get the linga in this way, quite unexpectedly, and that too after the vision of Trishul, Megha stood still for a moment, looking at the linga. He was so much overcome with emotion that a lump rose to his throat. The listener should listen attentively to yet another unique experience of the linga which Kaka Sahib Dikshit had. It will further confirm their faith in Sai. As Megha came out of the mosque, carrying the linga with him, Dikshit had just finished his bath in the Vada and was engrossed in chanting the name. A towel on his head, he stood on the stone, drying himself with a clean cloth and remembering Sai. Following his daily practice, he was chanting Sai's name with his head covered when he suddenly had the darshan of the linga. While chanting the name, why should I get this linga darshan? Only today, as Dikshit wondered thus, he saw that Megha was standing near him in a happy mood. Megha said, "Look, Kaka, Sai, see, Baba has given me this linga." Kaka was surprised but pleased to note the special feature of that linga. In its form and figure, its shape and special nature, it was the same of which he had darshan earlier. Dikshit felt very happy. Later on, the drawing of the Trishul was completed at Megha's hand, and Sai got him to install the linga near his picture. Megha was fond of performing Shankar Puja. His faith and devotion was confirmed by presenting him with a Shivalinga. Truly, Sai's Leela is inconceivable. Oh, but is there only one such tale? I can narrate innumerable ones like this one, but for the fact that the book will increase in bulk. Hence, O listeners, forgive me, and yet, eager as you must be for me, for God, I shall narrate one more in the next chapter, and you will hear of even more marvelous deeds of Sai. Seeking refuge at Sai's feet, Hemad makes his audience listen to Sai's story, which will free them from the fear of worldly life and avert their troubles. We have 15 more minutes. Let's start with the new chapter. Chapter 29, a narration of stories of dreams. I shall now narrate in this chapter Sai Baba's most inconceivable Leela, which is stranger than the one narrated in the previous chapter, although it is a continuation of the same subject. Having heard of Baba's most wonderful Leela, a group of devotional singers came to Shirdi in the year 1916 for Baba's darshan. They had all been travelling on pilgrimage to Kashi and having heard of Baba's fame while at Madras, had decided to break their journey at Shirdi. Sai Baba is a great saint, resolute, munificent and self-restrained, who is kind to the pilgrims and distributes money to them. 1 paise or 2 annas are as nothing to him, and there is a shower of 4 anna, 8 anna coins. To some he gives 10 rupees, to others 20, and to yet others 50. And this bounty is not reserved for special or festive occasions, or even for the time of Parva. But as mentioned above, such sums he distributes with great pleasure every day. Pahuds and bhavyas come and their men dance. Singers sing and the minstrels lavish praises. The entertainers present a salute of honor and respect. The Hari Bhakts, God devotees, get totally engrossed as they sing bhajans. So munificent is Maharaj, so bountiful is his generosity. This fame reached them by word of mouth, and so they wished to have Baba's darshan. Baba would also distribute money to the wayfarers if he felt like it. Compassionate that he was, Sainath would very kindly inquire after and relieve the wants and pain of poor and the afflicted. This group was of 4, comprising a man and 3 women, that is himself, his wife, daughter and his wife's sister. They all had a great desire for Saint's darshan. Absolutely true. The great masters will give whatever and whenever they wish to and to whomever they wish to. And why they do what they do is never understood. With this regard, I will narrate a very beautiful an event, rather an experience with my Krishna Guruji. So we were in Vrindavan. My Guruji took me to the Radha Kund and Krishna Kund. So he said only in Radha Kund do a lot of devotees come, but in Krishna Kund there were no one. So we dipped the feet in Radha Kund and after that in Krishna Kund, and then we crossed over and we came to the other side. There was a very old man, okay, very old man. He was literally bent. And then my Guruji started talking to him. He started saying, he said, give me dakshina or give me money, something he asked. So my Guruji said, why do you need money? You should ask for devotion, right? He said, yeah, I have attained my Krishna. He said, I have attained my Lord Krishna. I'm in full love with the divine. And then I just need some money. And at that time, I can't remember the entire thing that he said. There was a very sweet conversation with my Krishna Guruji. And then my Guruji said, he has actually attained Krishna, but now he wants Maya. That is money. Money is Maya. And so my Guruji blessed, and he removes 501 rupees and offers to this old man. He says, now you will get your money because you've already attained Lord Krishna. It is very sweet. Can you believe that? This old man is actually meeting the Divine Master, the Lord Shri Krishna himself. And from him he is receiving that. How sweet is it? And my Guruji telling this man has already attained Krishna. He has that highest love in him for Lord Krishna. How beautiful was that? It was such a lovely experience. I still have a photo of this, but yes, I've not posted. But it is a very sweet experience when I see my Guruji having this kind of conversations. But only my Guruji can recognize some of the greatest of the devotees in this world. They look very haggard, they absolutely have no money, sometimes no food to eat, but they're so happiest. He was full of love, he was full of happiness. He said, I just need that little money. I don't need love, I don't need Krishna because I already have Krishna with me, but I need some money now. It was a very sweet conversation. And then I see how devotion is, how there are so many different people, the devotees of the Lord that you can't even recognize, but only my Guruji can recognize because that is who he is. So coming back. Sometimes he would give them, okay, they belong to the Ramdasi Panth sect. They used to sing the bhajans with great enthusiasm, and Baba also gave them a rupee or 8 annas, whatever came to his mind. See, when the great masters offer any dakshina, no, he's not going to think, but that which comes to him naturally, he'll just take it and give it off. It's exactly like that. And my Guruji has taught, never think, how much you want to give. Whatever the first thought comes in your heart, just go with that. Because that is the divine Lord's will. So you're not using your mind. You're not thinking I need to give or not give. Is the person deserving or not deserving? No. My Guruji is not like that. But he knows whom to give. The deservability is very different subject altogether. We're not going to touch that. But that which comes to you naturally at that moment in time, you should just act to that because that is the divine will. But anything after that, then it becomes karma. Then what happens is when you think, oh, should I give or not give? Should I give or not give? And then if you give, please know that that becomes a karma, and some other life you need to be born as that other, whether it's a beggar or whoever that person is, and he has to be in a position to give back that money. So be very careful how you give. Sometimes he would give them some barfi, sometimes nothing, but then such had always been Baba's ways. Nothing was ever certain. That he distributed money was, however, true. There was nothing untrue about this. But he would not give it to one and all. No one knew what was in his mind. Fakirs, spongers, mendicants, they came to Baba's door all the time. Kind though he was, Baba did not always give to everyone in charity. Yes, this is very important. My Guruji also will only give to select few, and how he gives, why he gives, we don't even know. But when he gives, there is a reason. You don't question that. It was only he whose propitious moment had arrived, he would receive the money sanctified by the saint's touch and would thus get happiness and prosperity. Listeners will be happy to hear a story in this context, hence I shall first relate it and we will then move on. After the light repast in the morning, as Baba came and sat down near the pillar, which was close to the dhuni in the mosque, would then come the little girl, Amani. Timing herself well, 3-year-old naked girl would rush to the mosque holding a tiny jintan box in hand and accompanied by her mother, Jamali. Amani would go and sit on Baba's lap. Giving the little box in his hand and holding in his hand would clamor, Baba, Rupaya, Rupaya. Baba loved children and this child too was chubby and pretty. Baba would cuddle her and kiss her, holding her close. But though Baba cuddled and petted her fondly, Amani's heart would be in the rupee. Baba, give one, oh give quickly, she would say, her mind intent on his pocket. Amani, after all, was just a child, but even the big and the great have the same greed. All run after self-interest. A rare one he is who really believes in spiritual gain. Absolutely true. Whether you are a child or you are an older person, the nature of human being is that you're all running after self-interest. So this little girl, though she was, but her focus was on that wanting the rupaya from him for her piggy bank. The child would sit on Baba's lap, standing at some distance outside the railing. The mother would signal from far away, saying, "Do not budge until he gives you. Do I owe anything to your father, you worthless freebooter, that every now and then you pester me thus?" Baba would say angrily. But this wrath was only superficial and waves of love bounced within the heart. Putting his hand in the pocket, he would then take out a rupee. Putting it in the little box, he would close it sharply with a pop. As the box came to the hand, she would in trice be on her way home. This happened at breakfast time. Similarly, when he set out to go to the lendi, he would again scold her lovingly, but give her one more rupee. Thus every day he would give 2 rupees to her, 6 rupees to Jamali, 5 to Dada Kelkar, and 2 each to Bhagya and Sundari. 10 to 15 rupees would be given regularly to Tatya, 15 to 50 would go to Fakir Baba, and 8 rupees to poor and needy. So when those people from Madras heard about such generosity of Baba, they naturally felt a selfish interest in the money they could get and started singing bhajans regularly before Baba. See, one thing you must really understand, you should never do anything because you're going to get something. And Lord Shri Krishna has very beautifully explained in Bhagavad Gita. If you need to come to me with disinterested There should not be a motivation within you. Even if the devotion is done, it has to be done disinterestedly, in the sense, not with an intention that I am going to get the fruits of that devotion, or I'm going to be redeemed from my life, or I'm going to get liberated, or I'm going to get self-realization. Absolutely not. Any service done has to be done only with pure love and devotion. There should not be an underlying agenda. Please know this. Even if you're offering something to the great masters, to anybody, right, do it with full, with the goodness in your heart, with full love, absolutely love, not with an intention that you're going to get back something. That is very, human, selfish, greedy nature, with an ulterior motive. Never do that. Then there is no point in giving. Then you're not going to earn any merit or any goodness in your life. Outwardly, the bhajans were sweet, being full of devotion, but within they were motivated by a greed for money, and in the hope that he will give them more and more money. The family stayed in Shirdi. See, there was an ulterior and hidden agenda. You can never do this with the divine Lord, the great masters, because they are all knowing, and you will end up in more trouble. Forget about any spiritual being. You will not even go anywhere. You're incurring karma. You're incurring more sins. 3 in that group were very greedy and hoped to get plenty of money from Baba. The wife alone had a sincere love and devotion for Sai while singing the bhajans. As a peacock dances at the sight of the clouds, or the chakor is happy on seeing the moon, so was she in her love and respect for Sai. Once, while the Aarti at noon was in progress, Sai, who was kindness incarnate, saw the lady's loving devotion and gave her darshan in the form of Shri Ram. To everyone else, he was Sainath as usual, but to the lady's eyes, he appeared as Janaki Cont, Shri Ram. As the tears overflowed from her eyes, people watched in astonishment. Clapping with both her hands, she was simultaneously shedding tears. People were puzzled at the strange sight. At the same time, the spectacle aroused the curiosity of all. Why such a flood of tears, and why should she alone be so overjoyed? Later in the afternoon, about 4 to 4:30 p.m., the lady happily narrated to her husband of her own free will Sai's wonderful Leela in giving her darshan as Shri Ram. Light complexion as the petals of the blue lotus, the wish-fulfilling Kalpa Vriksha to the devotees, this elder brother of Bharat and the joy of Sita's heart. It was Shri Ram, the son of Dasharath, that I saw. Oh, it was that Janaki Nath, resplendent with a crown and earrings, adorned with garlands of wildflowers, round the neck, wearing yellow raiment, and with 4 hands whom I saw, the conch, the disc, and the mace in hands, the mark of Shri Vatsa on his breast, and the precious kaustubh round his neck. It was this most excellent of men of comely face that I saw. She said, I saw this unique incarnation of Shri Vishnu in human form, captivating the heart with a bow and arrow in hand, who was the very heart and soul of Sita. Outwardly, he may appear to be a fakir, maybe even asking for alms from door to door, but to me he appeared as the fascinating figure of Shri Ram, life and soul of Sita, holding a bow and arrow in hand. And so, although he is an avaliya to all appearances, and however else he may appear to be to others, to me he appeared as the heart-winning Lord of Sita with a bow and arrow. The lady was simple, trusting and devout, but her husband was very selfish. Women are simple and easily trusting. How is it possible that Raghupati Shri Ram will appear here at this place? Whatever is in their mind, so it appears to be the simple, faithful ones. We all saw none other but Sai. How did she alone see Ram? Wow, this is very true of anyone, right? As is your faith, so are your experiences. And a true devotee actually is selfless in the heart. There is no self-conceit, deceit or anything. They have pure devotion to the divine. So the Lord recognizes who is a true devotee, and you need to always have the grace to recognize the divine as well. Likewise, you can always see the devotees in a separate manner amongst everybody. You can identify them. They have unique qualities. So this lady, though she was among all the selfish people, but her heart was in full love and devotion. She was absolutely in devotion with Baba, and her innermost Ishta is what Baba revealed. So we are at the end of the hour. So we'll stop here and we'll continue the story tomorrow and see what happens. ओम श्री माँ गणपते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेव दत्त। ओम श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा। ओम श्री कृष्ण गुरुनाथ नाथ श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम देवी दुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री कृष्णार्पणम नमस्तु। कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्।